He wasn't a rich man. He wasn't famous. And he wasn't exactly honest either. But what Clifford Irving lacked in wealth, he made up for in ambition. In the early 1970s, Clifford lived in a quiet villa in Ibiza, Spain. A struggling writer, a dreamer, and like most writers, with a typewriter and unpaid bills. He wanted to create something that would change his life forever. But not through hard work, not through patience. Clifford wanted to skip the line. And one night, he had an idea so crazy, it just might work. What if he could write the autobiography of the most private man in the world without ever meeting him? That man was Howard Hughes, a billionaire, a pilot, a movie producer, a recluse. For the past decade, Hughes had become a ghost. No public appearances, no photographs, no interviews. People whispered rumors that he lived locked in hotel rooms, that he feared germs, that his fingernails had grown long and yellow, but no one really knew the truth. That mystery, Clifford saw it not as a barrier, but as an opportunity. Because if no one had seen Howard Hughes in years, then who could prove that Clifford hadn't met him? Clifford began to write a fake autobiography, page after page, filled with wild stories, false memories, and invented conversations. But here's the thing. Clifford wasn't lazy. He was brilliant. He studied Hughes obsessively, his life, his business deals, his mannerisms. He wrote in Hughes's voice with shocking accuracy. And then he forged letters. Letters that looked like Hughes himself had written them. They said, "I, Howard Hughes, have agreed to work with Clifford Irving on my autobiography." Clifford approached a major publisher, McGraw-Hill. They couldn't believe their luck. After all these years of silence, the great Howard Hughes was finally ready to speak. And Clifford Irving had exclusive access. They gave him a contract, a huge advance, nearly $750,000, a fortune at the time. He even got a $100,000 check made out to H.R. Hughes, which his wife tried to deposit in Switzerland using a fake ID. The world exploded. News outlets began preparing specials. Bookstores were flooded with pre-orders. TV hosts wrote questions for Hughes himself. And Clifford, he was the center of attention, the man who tamed the ghost. But behind closed doors, the real Howard Hughes was watching. And he was furious. Then, on January 7th, 1972, for the first time in over a decade, Howard Hughes broke his silence. He arranged a phone press conference with 7 journalists. His voice crackled over the line. "Calm, clear, cold," he said. "I do not know Clifford Irving. I have never seen him. I have never heard of him. I never authorized any book. And I consider it a fraud." The journalists were stunned. There was no mistaking it. That voice was definitely Howard Hughes. The lie began to unravel. An FBI investigation followed. The forged letters were exposed. The Swiss bank account was traced. The entire autobiography was revealed to be fake. Clifford Irving was arrested, convicted of fraud, sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. His career was destroyed. His name became synonymous with deception, and the book was never published as a real autobiography. Only later, as a historical artifact of one of the greatest literary hoaxes of all time. When asked why he did it, Clifford once said, "I just wanted to prove how easy it is to fool the world." with the right sentence. This isn't a fictional story. It actually happened. The year was 1971, and a struggling writer with no fame, no fortune, and one outrageous idea almost pulled off one of the boldest cons in history. Truth is stranger than fiction, and in Clifford Irving's case, fiction almost became reality. If you want more stories like this, real people, impossible lies, hidden truths, then subscribe, and I'll see you in the next story.